So I'm on an airplane flying back, and
Where are you flying back from?
From Jacksonville, Florida,
Oh,
to
so
LA.
you're there to see your kid.
Yes. So I am really
Christian's son lives in Florida, Georgia line.
It's pretty close to Florida Georgia line. That's right.
Raising him a redneck.
That's right. So I fly out on Friday, fly back on Sunday, and thankfully I'm so grateful that there's actually a flight that goes direct from LA to Jackson back. So it used to be that I have to connect, and I was taking red eyes in the middle of the night and everything. So I'm really pumped about the direct flights. But I'm coming in on a landing, and this was a flight that, it's 4.5 hours, so it's a pretty long flight. And there's a lady sitting next to me. So I pop open my window as I'm getting close to the landing because I like to see, so we're going over Riverside or whatever it is.
By pop open your window, you mean you put the shade up?
Yes.
You're not opening the window on a flight.
But I've always wondered.
You can't
like
roll
what would
down
happen, right?
So you're pushing up the shade.
Yeah, so I push up the shade, and the lady next to me says, "Oh, is that smoke?" And I'm like, "No, that's not smoke. That's just the air quality of Los Angeles. That's smog." So I go into like a little bit of a dissertation about smog, and then I just start.
Did she not understand what smog was?
Not until I explained it to her, and then she's like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense." And then I started to kind of go through and just ask her a couple of questions, and it was like innocent curiosity. And at some point, somehow, it must have gotten really deep because this sweet woman literally like latched onto me. So I'm getting off the plane, and I look back, and she's behind me, which I didn't think anything of it, right? So she's in the same aisle with me. It was no big deal, but she keeps asking me questions and keeps talking to me.
So now you're deplaning, walking through the airport,
through the jet bridge,
and
exactly
she's right there.
So
with
right there.
you.
So then, like the moment of weirdness comes, right? So I don't know about you. Usually when I get off an airplane, it's time to pee. So I go to the bathroom, and I'm like kind of having that bye moment, and I go in and I go to the bathroom, and then I come out. Guess who's standing there? Yeah, she waited for me, and it was just
What's her name?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No. And I'm glad that
she waited for you when you were in the bathroom?
Yeah.
So when you come out of the bathroom, what are you thinking?
This isn't good. And then I'm like, okay, so I've got approximately 125 yards before I get out the door. And then my wonderfully Latina girlfriend sees me standing next to another woman who's following me. And I'm like, well, that's going to be an interesting conversation to have. So I had to literally like part ways, be like, hey, you go your way, I'm gonna go this way, and I hope you enjoy your visit here in California. But like, she would have talked to me for another 45 minutes, and I think it's just because, I don't know, something about like the wiring with Chase, it's like you just ask these questions that make people want to be around you, is what I would say. So I've had that happen twice now, and I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not trying to do anything on purpose. Like, I'm not a pickup artist on airplanes anymore. I used to be back in the 60s, but
if you didn't have a Latin jealous girlfriend, what are the chances that the Indian lady would have been a candidate, dateable?
4%.
So 0.
There's always a chance, right?
Not really.
1 in a million. No, so I wouldn't say that she was my type. I wasn't in that mindset, but it was really, really interesting. Like
it works.
Yeah, her level of attention to me. It was super interesting, and I wasn't trying to do anything in any way, shape, or form other than be nice. But I think I probably asked a couple of questions. They're like, oh my gosh, this person's paying attention to me.
Yeah. In a sense, with the Chase thing, I feel like I'm weaponized in a lot of ways. And I think the most useful part of it is I don't get fooled by people.
Yeah, you ask the right questions, and the thing that I think that I noticed right away about you that I've also adopted and completely stolen from you is I couldn't believe how many times you would ask somebody a question and they would tell you something but not answer the question.
Yeah.
Like, that's something that since you've started working with Chase, that you don't let people skirt around that. Like, if you're asking a question, they have to answer it. And I've really started to do that, like with our coworkers, with clients, everything like that. Like, if I'm asking a question, I'm not asking for a story, I'm asking for an answer. In a lot of cases, super simple yes or no answers, and they'll go off for 10 minutes diverting you from it.
Yeah, and so let's just unpack that for the audience really quick. Is like what you can tell when somebody can't answer a direct question is you can tell that they don't have clarity in what they're doing or they don't have clarity in their strategy, but they really don't know how to do what it is you're asking them about. So like, say for example, I'm talking to service manager and I say something to the effect, well, how can we increase our profitability? What's the plan to increase our profitability? And then the service manager says something like, with the parts issues right now, and then they go into this whole thing about their house in the country and they bought a horse, and you're like, no, my question was, how are we going to make more money? How are we going to increase the profit? And then they just look at you. They don't know.
Yeah. I think it's absolutely fascinating.
It always fascinates me when it happens, and it happens all too often. And the thing is that I'm very direct in my question is I'm asking a question about the end result.
Yep.
Like if I'm sitting there with a head coach of a football team and I'm like, how are we going to score more points and get the other team out on third down?
Yep.
Well, the team just sold to a new owner, and you're like,
that's exactly how it is.
That was not my question. That was not my question.
So we're going to get into this a little bit later. Another thing I think is a huge advantage of this whole asking questions with intention is one thing, but how much better of interviewers are we because of the Chase stuff?
Oh, it's not even fair.
It's not even fair.
It's not fair.
So,
and I don't, you haven't been through his interrogation.
Yeah, I should do that.
Thanks so much for watching this clip of Service Driving Revolution. We're uploading new stuff every day, so make sure you subscribe and click the bell icon so you don't miss out. If you have a question you'd like us to answer on the show, call 8333-ASK-SDR and we'll answer your question on the show. That's 8333-ASK-SDR. For special deals on our books and training, head over to offers.chriscollinsinc.com. Now that's offers.chriscollinsinc.com. I'm Chris Collins, and I'll see you in the next video.